The fact that the Democratic Party can distinguish themselves from the Republican Party, that's not saying much. The Democratic Party is the party that's in power right now, and that is the party that is enabling and funding the first live-stream genocide in the history of the world. And our message is to tell the Democratic Party, to tell the DNC, not in our name, not with our tax dollars, not with US-made weapons. Enough is enough. An arms embargo must be imposed against the apartheid regime of Israel.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
You know, we have the Democrats that are here. They think they can come to our streets and talk a big talk, but they are not representing their citizens. The American people are calling for a ceasefire and an end to the genocide, an end to aid to Israel, and we are complicit in genocide, unfortunately, and we're calling for an end to all of that.
I'm glad our candidate Kamala Harris boycotted the meeting of Benjamin Netanyahu for Congress. I'm glad that she had a press conference and talked about the Palestinian suffering. That is great. Those are great steps. But in the next few weeks, we need a ceasefire in the Middle East. We need a ceasefire to stop the killing of the children, and that will get my vote.
Israel is a racist state.
Our message is clear to the Democratic Party that as long as our people are going through a genocide and as long as they are complicit in this genocide, we will continue coming out. We've been shutting down the streets every single week for the past 10 months, and we have been screaming countlessly. And we have made our voices heard, and we have made it clear our positions and who are we going to vote for and who aren't we going to vote for and what our conditions are in order to have these people vote for a candidate.
So we're here to send a very clear message to the Harris-Walz campaign that they need to support an arms embargo against Israel. Israel is committing genocide, and we need to stop selling weapons to a state that's committing genocide. And if they cannot commit to that, if they cannot give us a real policy shift, not just rhetoric around the ceasefire that they say they support but it hasn't come yet, we need real political change, real material change in the policies of this administration and the next administration if we're going to vote for the Democrats. Otherwise, I think a lot of us are not committed to supporting politicians who support genocide of our communities.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Not another nickel, not another dime!
Not another nickel, not another dime!
And I think it's all in my eyes, planned out, you know what I mean? It's almost gonna be a year for this. If America or UK or France want to end this, they could end this in no time.
The people are simply protesting to get their message out that the real terrorist is Netanyahu. And since many people talk about October, but everyone fails to mention 1948 and 1968, when Israel created an open-air prison and prevented Gazans, Palestinians, from living or having just a decent life. And now they are starving the people. They are bombing schools and hospitals, and the people here are protesting to say that that's not right. And the United States should not be aiding and abetting a terrorist like Netanyahu. He is a terrorist, and his cabinet, who are calling for the starvation and the annihilation of the Palestinian people, it is a terrorist act on the part of Israel.
The Israeli consulate is merely responding to an atrocious attack from October 7th, and still 100 hostages were kidnapped on that day, are still held in Gaza or wherever they're holding them, and Israel wants every one of those people returned, and I completely agree. And until then, the war will continue, and they can call it a genocide, they can call it apartheid, they can call all the little names that raise the flags and raise everybody's ires, and the people that don't do ask questions and look for real evidence and the real story, we'll accept that.
It's not easy on both sides, and if I could form a wholehearted opinion and pick a side, I honestly could tell you I can't, and I don't want to pick a side. I don't want to pick anybody's side. It's just, again, depressing to see everybody fight each other, and that's really all I can say from my end. I can't really say who's right and who's wrong, because whenever that happens, it just gets worse, and that's the most depressing part. I can't pick a side.
Oh my God, I think that Palestine should be free. I don't even think the people who are, I don't think that it's right at all. Palestine should be free. There should be a ceasefire, and there should have been one. Because that's their land, technically. They've been there longer than the people who've been there. That's the truth. The truth don't need no support, and I'm not being anti-Semitic either. I'm not talking against the Jews, anything like that. Be fair to your neighbor. It's in the Bible. They go by the Bible, right? You're supposed to honor thy neighbor. Those are your neighbors. Is that right, or is that correct or not? The truth.
Me and many others have many personal opinions about Hillary Clinton and a lot of the, policies that she took, her and her husband as well. So I'm honestly not the biggest fan. And I just wish these women would do better. Just because you're a woman in power doesn't mean you forget the whole picture.
I remember in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was the candidate. I also remembered that there was a growing movement to get Bernie Sanders as the candidate. And I think that's sometimes the tensions and challenges, right, that reveals in politics. Identity alone isn't enough. It's got to be about the substance of what you stand for. And Bernie has, at that time represented a politic that was resonating with more people across the country.
For me, it's about returning rights to women. It's about making sure that everyone, the whole community, is actually supported, not just in talking points, but in action. And this is a moment where we are all coming together. We're seeing different coalitions. The black women, white women, everyone are coming together to make sure that we change the direction of this country. We cannot continue to be divided. She is bringing unity not only of the Democratic Party, but of all Americans.
And that I know that this is a chapter in America that we need, the United States, that we so desperately need a unification. We are the United States. It's time we start acting like it. We can bring kindness to a dialogue. We can have conflict and still be friends. This polarity thing isn't good for anyone. And I believe that this part of her story is that moment of coming together and unity for everyone.
I feel like both sides right now, they aren't understanding like our side of what we want, because I know Kamala Harris and Biden said he was like a Zionist. Trump supports Israel. So I feel like right now what we're trying to do here is just to show, like, at least Kamala Harris, that to just help her understand our side and hopefully to get her to support us.
And resistance against the occupation and colonization.
Well, if you oppose genocide, you want to abolish poverty, you want to eliminate mass incarceration, you want to dismantle the American empire, then a vote for the West Abdullah ticket is a vote for you.
And how do you feel about being on the balance?
Oh, we make a serious move.
Thank
you, Chicago! Thank you, Chicago, for your energy. Thank you. In Kamala Harris, we have a chance to elect a president who is for the middle class because she is from the middle class. She understands the urgency of rent checks and groceries and prescriptions. She is as committed to our reproductive and civil rights as she is to taking on corporate freed. And she is working tirelessly to secure a ceasefire in Gaza and bringing hostages home. And Chicago, we have to help her win. Because we know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pockets and greasing the palms of his Wall Street friends. I'm tired of hearing about how a two-bit union buster thinks of himself as more of a patriot than the woman who fights every single day to lift working people out from under the boots of greed, trampling on our way of life. The truth is, Don, you cannot love this country if you only fight for the wealthy and big business. To love this country is to fight for its people, all people, working people, everyday Americans like bartenders and factory workers and fast food cashiers who punch a clock and are on their feet all day in some of the toughest jobs out there. But Chicago, just because the choice is clear to us, we will have to pour every ounce, every minute, every moment into making history on November 5th. But we cannot send Kamala and Tim to the White House alone. Together, we must also elect strong Democratic majorities in the House and in the Senate so that we can deliver on an ambitious agenda for the people. Because if you are a working parent trying to afford rent and childcare, Kamala is for you. You know, ever since I got elected, Republicans have attacked me by saying that I should go back to bartending. But let me tell you, I'm happy to any day of the week because there is nothing wrong with working for a living. We choose a new path and open the door to a new day, one that is for the people and by the people. Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless. God bless you all.
Thank you. It is an honor to be with you tonight because we're laying the groundwork for Kamala Harris to become our next president. Thank you, President Biden. We must summon the courage to stand up to wealth and power and deliver justice for people at home and abroad. Abroad, we must end this horrific war in Gaza. Bring home the hostages and demand an immediate ceasefire. I want you all to remember where we were 3.5 years ago. We were in the midst of the worst public health crisis in 100 years and the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And within 2 months of taking office, our government did respond. And Now, I say all of this not to relive that difficult moment, but to make one simple point. When the political will is there, government can effectively deliver for the people of our country. And now, brothers and sisters, bottom line, we need an economy that works for all of us, not just the billionaire class. I look forward to working with Kamala and Tim to pass this agenda. And let us be very clear. This is not a radical agenda. But let me tell you what a radical agenda is. And that is Trump's Project 2025. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, giving more tax breaks to billionaires is radical. Putting forth budgets to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid is radical. Letting polluters destroy our planet is radical. And my friends, we won't let that happen. On November 5th, let us elect Kamala Harris as our president, and let us go forward to create the nation we know we can become. Thank you all very much.
So we were really so overwhelmed and shocked by the warm reception that we received. We had anticipated that perhaps it wasn't going to be that way, and that was what people were telling us and trying to prepare us for. And so to walk out and have everyone stand up and clap, and then all of a sudden we heard this wave of everyone saying, "Bring them home, bring them home." And it was so unexpected that I got very emotional, which is not usually what happens to me in that setting. But it was really a whisper of a positive, beautiful moment.
We have one goal. Our goal is really focused and clear and simple to explain and hard to execute. Bring home Hirsch and 108 additional hostages. That's the goal. It's been the goal for 320 days, and we and collectively, the world has failed in that goal, but we're not stopping. We need to keep on pushing.
I think that we all realize that this is now a situation that has come down to two parties and two men who hold power in those parties, and that's Prime Minister Netanyahu and Yahya Sinwar. And until those two powerful men decide what the next step is, we are all very much pawns in a game that we didn't sign up for. All the hostages are pawns, all the families, and all the people in the region who are suffering. There are hundreds of thousands of innocent Gazans who are suffering horribly, and we are praying and doing everything we can to get those two men to do what is right by the people who are really in such agony and misery.
We don't get into the details of what needs to happen. We want our son and another 108 hostages to come home. We need these leaders to figure out the mechanism to make it happen. We keep hearing, we're close, and then something falls apart. We need to get it so that these leaders understand that these are real people, real lives across the region who are impacted by this situation, and they need to figure out the details so that we could bring these people home and move the region forward. We literally have no roadmap, no playbook. We wake up every day and say, what is the most effective thing we could do today to bring home Hirsch and the hostages? So I don't know where we're going to be in the morning, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk to leaders in the US, in Israel, all over the world. We'll do whatever we got to do to get this mission accomplished as fast as we possibly can and with the best results.